Hi everyone. For Taurus Rising, the Venus Jupiter conjunction on the 9th of June takes place in Cancer, in your third house, which is highlighting communication, learning, everyday interactions, siblings, cousins, close environment, and the way we process and express our thoughts. So, Cancer energy brings emotional depth, sensitivity, and warmth into the mental sphere. So, this transit might encourage you to communicate more openly, speak more honestly about your feelings, and reconnect with people who might make you feel emotionally understood and mentally at ease. On more practical level, this might show up by needing important conversation, bringing clarity or emotional understanding, reconnecting with siblings, cousins, or old friends. Maybe you'll have increased communication and more invitations to social occasions. Also, learning that feels something feel personally meaningful to you. Writing, maybe journaling, or any form of creative self-expression might appear at that time. Short trips or spontaneous outings might be happening. Also, you might become more socially, emotionally aware of the atmosphere around you, and suddenly realizing that one quick message with a friend somehow turns into a 2 hour emotional live discussion. So, Venus brings harmony, warmth, and connection, while Jupiter expands awareness, perspective, and emotional understanding. Together, these two planets in Cancer support communications that feel more intuitive, emotionally intelligent, and many Taurus rising might find themselves speaking with greater softness, empathy, and emotional honesty during this period. What makes this transit especially interesting for Taurus rising is the deeper connection between the houses involved. The conjunction takes place in your third house, which is ruled by the moon, while Jupiter rules your 11th house, where your moon is currently placed in Pisces. So this creates a form, what we call in astrology, a mutual reception between the moon and Jupiter, which links communications, friendships, emotional connections, and also your sense of belonging much more strongly together. So, because of this, conversations and interactions during this period might carry far more significance than usual. Friendships, social circles, group connections, and emotional support systems might become quite central in your life during that time, while your emotional state be strongly influenced, might strongly influence the way you communicate and also relate to others. The moon in the 11th house gives Taurus rising a highly compassionate, intuitive, and emotionally aware approach to friendships and social connections. And there is often a strong emotional sensitivity to group dynamics or social atmospheres and the emotional needs of others, even if there is not always ex- expressed in an open manner. So during this transit, emotional insight with friendships and communities might increase. You might become more aware of which people genuinely make you feel good and which connections leave you emotionally drained or disconnected with yourself. The trine from Venus and Jupiter in Cancer to the Moon in Pisces creates a flowing emotional connection between these energies and help communication, emotions, and relationship to move more naturally together. This might support better emotional understanding, meaningful conversations, as well as maybe creative inspiration and a stronger sense of emotional belonging. Many Taurus rising might feel more emotionally open, socially connected, or intuitively guided during this time. And friendship might deepen, and supportive people might appear more clearly, and important emotional conversation might leave a lasting impact on you. Venus also rules your first house in Taurus, which brings strong themes connected to identity, self worth, appearances, and personal values into the transit. As a result, this period might feel personally significant for you in many levels, with encouraging better self awareness and emotional honesty about who you are becoming. You might begin recognizing more clearly what truly aligns with your emotional well-being, values, and long-term peace of mind. There can also be a growing desire to surround yourself with people and environments that feel emotionally safe, genuine, and reciprocal. At the same time, our goal in Taurus in the first house forms a what we call sextile to the Venus Jupiter conjunction, adding emotional honesty and intensity to themes connected to identity and self worth. In astrology, Algol is one of the most powerful fixed stars and is often associated with intense emotions, experiences that cannot easily be ignored, and moments that force deeper self awareness. Although Algol has a dramatic reputation historically, in modern psychological astrology, it can also represent confronting truth that have been suppressed for too long. And for Taurus rising, this might work quietly on the background, helping you to recognize where you might have outgrown old versions of yourself and where you might have tolerated situations that diminish your self worth, or where stronger emotional boundaries and self respect are needed. So, meanwhile, Chiron in Aries in the 12th house receive a square from the conjunction, highlighting subconscious emotional patterns, hidden insecurities, or emotional exhaustion that might have been operating quietly beneath the surface for some time. Chiron is often referred to as the wounded healer in astrology and symbolizes emotional wounds, vulnerabilities, and areas of life where we might carry pain, sensitivity, or feeling of inadequacy, but also where deep healing and wisdom can eventually develop. In the 12th house, Chiron often works beneath our conscious awareness. So, this transit might bring greater awareness of emotional patterns you normally keep hidden or consciously avoid um, or quietly carry alone. This transit encourages great compassion towards yourself and may help you recognize where emotional rest, solitude, or healing space is needed. Sometimes growth begins not through pushing harder, but through finally allowing yourself to slow down enough to hear what your inner world has been trying to say all along. So, overall, this Venus Jupiter conjunction in Cancer feels emotionally rich, reflective, and quite transformative for many Taurus risings. It is not only about communication or social connection, but about understanding more deeply what creates emotional fulfillment, belonging, and inner stability in your life. And perhaps one of the most important lessons of this transit is recognizing which conversations, environments, and friendship truly nourish you and your emotional well being, and which quietly drain it. Sometimes the most important transformation begins not through dramatic external change, but by finally listening to what your inner world has been trying to communicate all along. Well, my daughter is Taurus rising, so I'm going to be asking her how is this reflecting with her, but I would love to hear how is this reflecting with you. Okay, thank you.